So hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. In this video, we will be discussing about some few important topics related to mass transfer operations. Here we will be discussing about unit processes, unit operations, the purpose of separation operations, then classification of separation operations, fundamental transport processes, and many other things. So guys, when we talk about chemical engineering, it is broadly classified into unit operations and unit processes. Unit processes are the ones where there is chemical change involved. On the other hand, unit operations are those where there is only physical change involved. These unit operations and unit processes are the heart of chemical process industry. Here when we concentrate on the unit operations, and one of which we emphasize is mass transfer operations. Unit operations are further classified as heat transfer operations, fluid flow operations, and separation operations. Separation operations are divided into two classes, that is mechanical operations, where separation takes place from the slurry, and mass transfer operations, where separation takes place from the solution. Now we will be looking towards the purpose of separation operations. There are various mixtures of substances that needs to be separated. Concentrating from the point of view of chemistry and chemical engineering, these mixtures have to be separated into different products based on their compositions. These compositions may be in terms of their concentrations. Except for a few elements or compound, mostly every element or compound is found in its impure state. To understand this clearly, we can say that it contains impurities that need to be removed, or precisely we can say that they need to be separated. Often we have to separate these into individual components. And we may come across many such examples as we move further in the series of separation operations. It is a very important field of chemical engineering. One of the simplest and the most good example of separation process is the fractionation of crude oil. As we are aware that crude oil is a mixture of various hydrocarbons. These are valuable in the natural form. There is a great demand and crisis for the purified cuts of these hydrocarbons. We get various substances in the form of hydrocarbons in different cuts, such as natural gases, gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, lubricating oil, asphalt, and many more. This separation is based solely on the temperature difference. Every component has its separate boiling range and thus can be separated. Now when we talk about separation operations, they can be termed under the broad topic of mass transfer operations. One type of separation is mechanical while the other type is of chemical. The choice can be decided according to constituent material from which separation is to be carried out. Mechanical separations can be carried out from the slurry, and chemical separations can be carried out from the solution. As chemical engineers, our prime focus is to look for the cost-effective ways. Mechanical separations are preferred initially for separation as the cost involved is low as compared to the chemical separations. Mechanical separations are preferred initially for the separations as the cost involved is low compared to the chemical separations. But when the systems cannot be separated by mechanical means, the only way to separate them out is by chemical separation. The component of separations exists as a combination of any of the two or more states of the matter, which include solid-solid, solid-liquid, solid-gas, liquid-liquid, liquid-gas, gas-gas, and solid-liquid-gas mixtures. Hence, for various mixtures stated here, the method of separations may differ depending upon the characteristic and the nature of the mixture. Now, we will be looking in the classification of separation processes. There are various similarities when we look toward the pattern of the feed being entered, processed, and converted to the final product in almost every industry, that is in chemical, food processing, and biological industries. Hence, we can take all these processes that are different and they carry out small steps of separations by breaking them down. These steps were initially known as unit operations, and from this we can know that combination of various unit operation is required in any industry to process the feed and to get final product out. So now, instead of unit operations, which is a classical term, one precise and descriptive term, separation operations are commonly applied to all the diverse operations taking place in the industries. Now guys, at the end in this video, we will be looking at the fundamental transport processes. So there are mainly three fundamental transport processes, that is momentum transfer, heat transfer and mass transfer. Looking at the first type of transport processes, that is momentum transfer. Momentum means mass into velocity. So when we talk about fluid flow operations or momentum transfer, we have to take into consideration the momentum for the transfer of fluid from one place to another. This type of transfer requires a moving medium and thus the velocity of the fluid plays a vital role here. And all the operations of fluid flow are driven by momentum difference. That is, the driving force is momentum. Application of this type of transfer often find its important in unit operations such as sedimentation, mixing and filtration. Moving on with the second transport process, that is heat transfer. When there is difference in temperature among the medium, heat transfer takes place. The heat flows from higher temperature to lower one. The more the difference, or we can say that increased gradient, helps in better heat transfer. The temperature difference is the driving force for the heat flow. Application of this type of transfer is observed mostly in separation operations of drying, evaporation, distillation and many others. Another kind of transfer that finds its application widely in chemical industries, where we look for obtaining useful product, is mass transfer. Here the mass is transferred from one phase to another phase based on the concentration difference. This difference in concentration becomes the driving force here. The mechanism of transfer is same irrespective of phases being solid, liquid or gases. This type of transfer finds its application in distillation, absorption, liquid-liquid extraction, then membrane separation, adsorption, crystallization and leaching. So guys, this was all about a brief of mass transfer operation, where in this video we discussed about unit operations, unit process, the purpose of separation, the classification of separation processes and fundamental transport processes. Most probably in the next video we will be discussing about various separation operations, where we will be discussing about evaporation, drying, distillation, adsorption, absorption, membrane separation, liquid-liquid extraction, leaching, ion exchange, solid-liquid leaching, crystallization and many more processes briefly. So stay tuned for that video. So guys, if you find this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more informative content. As always, feel very free to leave any questions or comments down below. Thank you for watching and see you in next video.